Suzi, hebu kamwone. Yule dem tulikuwa tunaambiwa.
Kwani amefanya? Hizi shop zote 3 ni zake. Na next door anachukua pia.
Na imagine tuko na haka kitu kamoja tu.
Na bodyguards zako na wana.
Nasikia wanamshughulikia everything. ATM zake, credit card zake 24/7.
Hadi usiku.
Kwani 24/7 inamaanisha?
That means anamlipia hata bill zake pia. KRA, NHIF, UEFA. Anafanywa zote akiwa ametulia tu hivi.
Kitu kingine nasikia ni eti so secure.
Kwani kuna bank yake, si vitu kama hizi utamtoa anaenda kwa bank. Nasikia hiyo katu hivi. The whole day kwa tablet akifanywa kila kitu.
Na hao bodyguards wake ndio umpelekea do kwa majuu.
Unaona wale wawili waso au fanya bulk payments.
Nilisikia ni ati local accounts zake, foreign accounts zake anashughulikiwa.
Aki no wonder business yake imegrow hivyo. Lazima kuna bank yake special.
Your banking team is at your fingertips. Go digital. Visit coopbank.co.ke and click on New Internet Banking.
Wow, thank you for your time. How juicy.
Juicy. Live from Maisha Television, this is Maisha News Update.
Good afternoon, thank you so much for tuning in to Maisha Live at 1. My name is Bushebi Jr. Now, the Ministry of Health says it is investigating claims that antiretroviral drugs ARVs phased out in the country were flagged off by KEMSA last week for distribution to 31 counties. And even though the Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe has given the assurance that ARVs held at the port of Mombasa will be released, the United States, through its Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, has maintained that American aid will continue only if the government addresses issues of corruption in KEMSA.
We are now discussing the issue of disbursement and the issue of distribution of the same. So we have no doubt that in the coming number of days, the ARV shortages here will be a thing of the past.
As KEMSA was being reformed, nothing fell through the cracks, that we had the ability together to make sure that our assistance continued uninterrupted.
Now, debate on BBI amendment bill has entered the second day in a row at the Senate. The senators yesterday experienced a high drama in the House as legislators debated on the BBI bill, with the arrest of a senator and a spirited attempt to scuttle the process of changing the constitution. Allies of Deputy President William Ruto pushed for the suspension of the special sitting in the National Assembly on the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2020. The Senate resumed after a short while the House sitting in the morning to allow members to read the report of the Committee of the Justice and Legal Affairs. The afternoon session took a different twist when Ruto ally Senator Mithika Linturi was arrested. It forced Speaker Ken Lusaka to adjourn the House for 30 minutes in search of the senator, who was reportedly being held by sleuths from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, and only resumed after Linturi resurfaced. The National Assembly Tharaka Nithi member MP Gitonga Murugara Ndindi Nyoro of Kiharu and Jubilee nominated MP Sankok raised objections against the afternoon sitting, citing various reasons that were all ruled out of order by Speaker Justin Muturi.
Mr. Speaker, we have proposed that the leadership, that's the move of this bill, takes steps to correct that error. How will we look to the Kenyan people, Mr. Speaker, if we consider a bill that has got these typing errors and we fail in our duty as members of the Senate in correcting these simple errors? And then you send a bill to the people that has got these glaring errors. Mr. Speaker, I want to persuade the House that this is an error that does not change the substance of the bill. So we are not changing the intention of the promoters. We're just doing an amendment that will correct errors that appear on the face of the bill that was read before us. So, Mr. Speaker, the next point I was making yesterday was regarding the clauses on the judiciary. And Mr. Speaker, some people did not get the point I was making. Mr. Speaker, if you read Article 172 of the current Constitution, the Judicial Service Commission still retains the power of considering complaints that are made against judges. And I want to read what is in Article 172C. It says that the function of the JSC will be to receive complaints against judges, to investigate and remove from office or otherwise discipline registrars, magistrates, and other staff in a manner prescribed by an act of parliament. Mr. Speaker, the current position is that you cannot suspend a judge of the High Court, Court of Appeal, or the Supreme Court before Judicial Service Commission has recommended to the President the setting up of a tribunal to look into the conduct of a judge of a superior court. Now, the clause that this that the committee has an issue with is what is 43, Mr. Speaker, whereby it is now proposed that just by the mere receiving of a complaint,
India now has the second most COVID-19 cases in the world, behind only the United States of America, and that's putting a tremendous strain on the country's healthcare system. India's coronavirus crisis is deepening, with hospitals buckling under increasing pressure from the second wave of infections. The South Asian country reports approximately 300,000 new cases daily since Tuesday and currently has recorded more than 20,000 deaths according to government data. It is the 8th day straight that India's daily case count exceeded 200,000, while the daily death toll still comparatively low but inching higher. Cases started rising since February, and so far this month, India has reported more than 3.1 million new cases and over 20,000 deaths. The total cumulative cases have topped 15 million, making India the second worst infected country behind the United States. Hospitals are turning away patients due to a shortage of beds, including those who are critically ill. In some instances, non-related patients are being forced to share beds, according to media reports. Healthcare facilities are also low on oxygen supply, and the government is reportedly diverting oxygen meant for industries for medical use. India's government officials say that the government is trying to address the issue on the medical system by moving healthcare workers from one location to another and setting up emergency hospitals. Political rallies where large crowds gathered, mostly without masks, and a string of religious congregations in various parts of the country are said to have contributed to the second wave. There is also growing concern about the double mutation of a COVID-19 variant that was discovered in India, which could make the virus more contagious. States are going into partial lockdowns. So far, India has resisted a second nationwide lockdown. Last year's countrywide lockdown from late March to May disproportionately hurt the informal sector and knocked India off its growth trajectory. States, however, are stepping up social restrictions as hard-hit places are going into partial lockdown. The epicenter of the second wave is India's richest state, Maharashtra, which is home to the country's financial capital of Mumbai. The western state alone has reported over 1 million new cases since the start of April. Maharashtra is already in a state of partial lockdown until May 1st, but reports say that further restrictions are expected on April 28th, that is yesterday. Now, due to the pandemic in India, Kenya suspended flights to and from India effective Saturday due to surge in COVID-19 infections in the country. The decision was arrived at following a crisis meeting by Kenya's National COVID-19 Emergency Response Committee that also set guidelines for all passengers jetting into Kenya from India between then and Saturday midnight. On to matters business, Keroche Breweries will be banking on the launch of its new brand to boost beer sales. Depressed by the COVID-19 pandemic, the Naivasha-based brewer has launched Vienna Ice Strong Lager, exuding confidence that it will generate an extra 1 billion shillings to the exchequer every year. The move comes amidst a sharp drop in sales, largely attributed to COVID-19 containment measures that has seen closure of bars and restaurants in sections of the country. Keroche CEO Tabitha Karanja says that the firm will be launching another brand in the next 3 months to boost local manufacturing.
Whatever we were doing in 2019, we can now say maybe we are doing a quarter of what we were doing. So it's so small number, it's a small number. So in Kenya, you don't find anybody manufacturing a strong beer beyond maybe 6%. Now we've gone beyond this 10, we go maybe to 12. We can only get them from the imports, the other parts of the world they do. And then you wonder, why do we let our people, when we have the technology, we have the machines, we've invested heavily, so we've decided to take that gap.
Now, Britam Holdings has reported 9.7 billion shillings loss for the year ended December 2020 compared to a profit of 4.6 billion in 2019. Of the losses, Britam says was related to a fair valuation loss due to poor equities performance and another 2 billion shillings in related property impairments. Food security concerns have hit the farmers as they worry about the ongoing rain delay. This is after most of the farmers in the country had prepared and planted, expecting that the rains would start as usual by mid-March. The Kenya Meteorological Department had issued an alert to farmers that many regions were expected to receive enough rainfall during this year's planting season. But most parts of the country are yet to receive the adequate rainfall to sustain the development of the already germinated crops.
Of course, farming is a risk in itself, and we are encouraged to do crop insurance.
And folks, that's what we had for Maisha Live at 1. My name is Bushabi Jr. See you next time. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.
Live from Maisha Television.
Thank you for trusting us as your #1 informative television. Join me, Rida Chebet, every day as I bring you the latest news at Maisha Live at 1 and update at 6, right here at Maisha Television.
Wakati mafuta imeongeza hivi, wao wameongeza commission yao to 28.1%.
I have a visual disability, yes, which has been with me for a long time.
No, I'm asking the second part.
Swala la utovu wa nidhamu limezua hisia mseto nchini.
Caning is not bad for the students. Juu hata sisi wazazi wetu walikuwa natuadhibu tukiwa wadogo when we were growing up.
We are now more organized than ever before.
Indeed, this is the fastest growing television in Kenya.
At Maisha Television, we are impartial and independent.
The presidential election of the 26th October is hereby upheld.
Every day, we create distinctive professional programs, content which inform, educate, and entertain.
If the money has been approved, then it should be disbursed on time.
We go an extra mile to let you know of all that is happening around.
Wawe smart, wawe wasafi.
We make it easier for you to access information, a right provided by the Constitution. This is where your opinion counts.